Alrighty. I think it's time now. We can wait. We can start the webinar. So thank you everyone for joining us today for the glass jar refillery webinar. I am very pleased to introduce you all to Rosanna Chula, and she is the owner of the glass jar refillery. And she's going to be spending the next half an hour or so with us, going through her presentation, telling us all about the glass jar refillery, all about refilleries, how they work, and the benefits to our pockets and our environment. So I will turn it over to Rosanna.
Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you all, see you, and welcome to today's presentation, Refill, Not Landfill. We're going to explore a little bit about refilleries and the impact they have in our communities. So welcome once again. Next slide. This quote is just so amazing. I find it very powerful. It's a powerful reminder that we as entire civilization, we are quote unquote the drop in Mother Earth's ocean. Very precious, very precarious, especially during these times. Next slide. And this is what we're going to be exploring this afternoon. We're going to learn a little bit about the glass jar refillery, how it all started, some key terms, aspects, components that are related to refilleries and just overall sustainability, what a refillery is all about, when did refilleries first start, why refilleries are important, facts about single-use plastic, and I'm going to give you a demonstration of a refill or fill, if you want to call it that way, and also questions and answers if any of you have any of those. So next slide, please. All right, so a little bit about the glass jar refillery. The glass jar refillery opened in October 1st, 2020, in the midst of the pandemic. And it's Hamilton's newest little refillery located at 544 Concession Street here on the Hamilton Escarpment. And we focus on 18 different brands, specifically from Ontario. Although I always promote about Canadian-made products, I ended up, selling and showcasing brands from Ontario. We've got dynamic products that can come right from our province. And the glass jar refillery is also very fortunate to have strong alliances with a broad network of Canadian brands, specifically from Ontario, as well as suppliers and like-minded businesses. It is part of the low-impact, zero-waste lifestyle and a willing contributor of the circular economy. Now, a little bit about me. I have nearly 20 years of experience in customer service, and I've always been creative and inspired by, overall nature, the water, the forest, the sky. It's always been an inspiration to me, and I'm still learning about my business, and I'm striving for greater knowledge. I'm not an expert, but I'm new and discovering so much along the way. And for me, that's really important, that it equals a lot of growth, and it's a continuous thing. I'm passionate about so many things, and especially the implications of single-use plastic and what they have on our city, our home of Hamilton. That's what helps fuel my entrepreneurial spirit. Next slide. So there's some important definitions that I'd like to introduce you to, or you probably already know of, and it's always nice to review them as well and get to know them as well. With refilleries, these concepts, these definitions are associated with the idea of a refillery and what drives a refillery. The following are key elements that are part of the same path and direction towards eliminating excessive waste, single-use plastic, and they are quote unquote games to try and heal, protect, and educate. We currently have 5 plastic islands floating in our oceans. So I believe collectively we can make a difference to try and, let's get rid of those plastic islands. They're not necessary, and let's not make them any larger than they have to be. So here we have low impact, zero waste, and you'll hear reference to these concepts, low impact, zero waste lifestyle. They're both based on being eco-friendly in practice. So zero waste is basically, the concept is to stop waste from accumulating in landfills, whereas low impact is a day-to-day holistic approach to helping the environment, improving the environment. And circular economy is very interesting. It's something that I just learned about recently. So basically what it is that it's the opposite of the linear economy, which is make, use, and dispose of, which is an everyday thing that we seem to live in. And the aim of a circular economy is to eliminate waste and continuous use of resources. The Ellen MacArthur Foundation is based out of the United Kingdom, is an excellent foundation, and its goals are to promote and implement the circular economy by working with everyone from business to academia. This is where I first discovered what a circular economy was all about. So it's a great organization to explore and check out their websites. Now, everybody's heard of carbon footprint. So basically, just to summarize or to review, the definition is the amount of the CO2 emissions that result in our daily activities. So examples would be livestock or meat, particularly beef. It's the biggest culprit in our greenhouse gas emissions. According to the EPA in the United States, transportation is also another culprit, 29% in 2019. That's the amount of carbon footprint that took up the amount of carbon footprint was 29%. Other major contributors are like food, consumption, transportation, as I mentioned already, and household energy. Also, the big word is sustainability. Sustainability is an everyday thing. It's basically to avoid the depletion of the Earth's natural resources so we can maintain an ecological balance. Sustainability goes beyond environmental. It's a broad definition that also includes the social and economic aspects. I discovered this interesting fact in a document from McGill University that explores sustainability even further. Did you know that if every office worker in the UK uses one less staple per day, it's replaces it with a reusable paperclip, 120 tons of steel would be saved in 1 year. So practicing sustainability doesn't have to be huge, but every little bit of action has a greater impact in the long run. So that's something really important to consider. Every little bit that we do, it makes a difference. We don't have to be experts and grandiose in our actions. So every little bit counts. Next slide. So what is a refillery? Well, a refillery is basically a place where you can purchase items such as food, pet care, personal care, household products in bulk. For example, here at the Glass Jar, I carry 38 different products that you can refill, ranging from facial cleansing grains to foaming hand soap to even baby wash and shampoo, as well as pet shampoo. Every scoop and spoon is sanitized and washed before and after use. And basically what it is that it's the weigh and pay experience. So you fill up by reusing your own containers, or you can also purchase some in store if you want. But you can, fill up an empty shampoo bottle that you got at Shoppers Drug Mart, pasta sauce jars, pickle jars, margarine containers. You can be as creative and resourceful as possible. And they just have to be clean and dry. And then basically just fill them up. And I'll do that. I'll show you in the demonstration, the step-by-step process. When someone when one of my customers comes to me and comes into the glass jar refillery, there's some customers that are new to a refillery experience, and then there's the people that are very experienced and have shopped at different refilleries or eco-friendly shops, so they're very familiar. So you've got two different kinds of customers, and they're both very important, and they're so amazing just to have a conversation with and welcome them into my shop. Every customer is different, and I always want to learn about their journey and explain the entire process to them. It is the overall experience, it's the dialogue, and it's about learning amongst each other in the community, and that's really important to me. Next slide. So a brief history into a refillery is that basically from my research, the bulk burn that began in 1882 is a long established example, primarily focusing on food. I'm sure most of us or some of us have gone into the bulk burn. Another early example of a refillery experience is Lush, which originated in the United Kingdom in 1995. Of course, they're focused on skincare and beauty products, and their dedication was towards being package free. Today, there's an estimated 79 active refilleries in Canada and 6 refill delivery businesses. They don't have any retail fronts, but they are just strictly delivery businesses. And that's just the beginning of the refill movement. Now, I feel like the concept of bulk purchasing, i.e. refilleries, have truly existed longer than this. Different markets, such as farmers markets, street markets, dry goods shops, those are also early examples and other examples of the refill experience. Has anyone here shopped at a refillery? Or if you have, what products would you refill your container with? Can anybody want to answer or put in some, give some ideas?
I haven't shopped at one yet, but after I found out about your store, I'm really interested in coming in, and I know lots of people use like shampoo bars and stuff, but I like the liquid shampoo, so I think that's something that I'd really like to purchase at a refillery and become more zero waste in that sense.
Excellent. That's great, Abby. Thank you very much for commenting. And shampoo bars are great. I was introduced to shampoo, like the shampoo bars, when I went to the Green and Frugal store in Toronto, and they make their own shampoo bars. And then I ended up selling their shampoo bars, and I love it. It's just amazing. It's a different kind of experience with shampoo bars. If you have super long hair, maybe takes a little bit of extra time, because it's easier to work with the liquid, but it's pretty interesting. I like shampoo bars, so come in or check it out. You'd be happy to explore and see the different kinds of shampoo bars that I will be carrying in the future. Molly, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I've actually gotten Castile soap from the Mustard Co-op and from Pale Blue Dot.
Oh yeah, fantastic. Castile soap is fantastic, and in the bar form or else in liquid form. I carry it in the liquid form, so yeah, that's great, and it's so diverse in its use. So that's good. That's good. Fantastic. And Castile soap is a vegetable base, so it's a nice product to have in your home. It's very diverse.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else? Okay, great. Next slide, please. All right, so we get into the idea of refilleries and why they're beneficial to our communities. There's so many reasons why, especially nowadays. Essentially, the most important thing is reducing the need for plastic, particularly single-use plastic. I always tell customers, you know what, reuse those shampoo bars and your the jug, like the Tide, when you buy those, like the thing of Tide, reuse it, repurpose it. And I always suggest using like products. So if you're going to fill up your shampoo bottle from that you got from Shoppers Drug Mart, fill it up with shampoo or body wash, you know, and same with the detergent, like laundry detergent, just dish detergent. So basically, recycling is not enough. We need to take it up a notch because as I get into later on to this presentation, recycling is not as effective. It's so it's difficult with the recycling because not everybody knows how to recycle, and that's a whole different subject matter right there. And we've got so many examples of single-use items like beverage bottles, takeout containers, margarine containers, pickle jars, etc. And also refilleries are an example of sustainability, or the idea of sustainable practice. Basically, we save on resources and we prevent landfill waste and water pollution. And of course, it's probably been very difficult in the last year since COVID-19 to even try to make a difference, but there's still lots of people that are, you know, adamant about refilling, reducing, reusing constantly. It's very important that we continue on that path, regardless of what's going on. According to the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, if 20% of single-use plastic was replaced by reusable options, there would be like $10 billion that would be converted or made or turned into an opportunity as a result of transforming or transferring into using a reusable format. So that's pretty significant. That's a large number, a large dollar amount. Also, refilleries are, for me personally, I find them as an excellent business model because it's all about community. And, you know, of course, we've got the focus point of the environment, but it's also about community. It brings about people that are like-minded. We create a dialogue. It's sort of like a call to action, and it's local and ethical. So there's a lot of good elements to it that create the formula of what a refillery is all about. I think it's so important. And also refilleries are an important part of the circular economy, which I think is so amazing that we should try to convert our processes and our operations to a circular economy overall. Next slide. Now, facts about single-use plastic. This is a broad, like, there's so many facts and figures and statistics, and I'm sure everything's changed dramatically since March of 2020. So I believe that we've been set back a little bit, or quite significantly, and we have a lot of catching up to do, and we should do this as soon as possible. Some facts about single-use plastic. 40% of plastic is produced strictly for packaging. And I think that's unnecessary. I think we can, you know, diminish that number a little bit or bring it down a little bit. Apparently, Canadians can use up to 3 billion plastic bags every year and close to 57 million straws daily. So that's scary. That's just too much. I think we need to eliminate that or bring that down and convert, or let's move towards a reusable format. I think that's really important for all of us. And the most popular kind of plastic litter that you can find in bodies of fresh water here in Canada is single-use plastics. That's scary. We need to keep our water, our bodies of water, even if they're a pond or a river, whatever, we need to let them breathe and let them just invite just the fish and whatever the aquatic life that belongs there. And, you know, plastic does not belong in the water. And apparently plastic can live up to 450 years. So it's going to outlive us all. And that's another scary number. So we need to think about that when we're using that plastic bottle or whatever it is, that plastic container. Let's consider it, it's going to outlive you, and it's going to outlive your children and your grandchildren. So we need to make that change. And approximately less than 11% of our plastics are truly recycled. On a global scale, it's about 9%. So the rest of it ends up in a landfill or in the ocean. And we're just going to contribute to more of those 5 plastic islands. And I don't think we really want to do that anymore. I'm sure there's a lot more facts and figures and statistics about single-use plastic. Does anyone here know of any other interesting facts about single-use plastic that they want to share with us, with the rest of the group? Well, maybe you'll now get into a curious mode and mindset, and then do your own little research and discover a little bit more about single-use plastic. So, and I'm sure there's a lot of other points and facts, not just on a Canadian scale, but on a global scale that you'll probably be able to discover. And if you come up with anything or discover anything, please share with me in the future. That'd be great. Next slide. All right, so, well, what other ways can we reduce our consumption of single-use plastic? I always suggest to my customers that they reuse their plastic bottles and their pumps. Your shampoo bottles and your detergent bottles, sometimes they come with a pump already. The ones that you purchase at the grocery store or Shoppers Drug Mart, repurpose those, reuse those. They're invaluable. You can use them and get a lot out of them. Switching from plastic straws to stainless steel or paper straws or bamboo straws. Use reusable cloth bags when you're shopping is always good. I know, for example, Farm Boy, the grocery store, they have now eliminated plastic bag use. So they're encouraging everybody to bring their own bags and reuse their own bags. Either, whatever plastic bags you have at home, reuse them. Or if you have cloth bags, reuse them. Buy food in bulk as much as possible. Use glass or steel containers for your lunch. And also get the dialogue going with others and let them be aware of how important it is to reduce single-use plastic consumption and to help eliminate, just encourage others, because some people are going about their day-to-day life and they're not really paying attention to that. And it's not out of spite, or, they just probably are not aware of it. And it's always nice to encourage others and say, hey, listen, switch it up a bit. And other ways is you can buy or use biodegradable makeup brushes for those who love to wear makeup and whatnot. And also just buy our fashion choices. Wearing clothing that's made from natural fabric like hemp, cotton, wool is another example. And overall, choose to reuse, refill, and repurpose. That's another way to reduce our plastic consumption. Next slide. Oh, another quote that I really appreciate and love. The earth doesn't belong to us. We've taken advantage of our precious earth far too long. And, we need to smarten up and try to make that difference every day, and try to help with the healing of the earth. I think we've got a lot of work ahead of us, but we can all make that difference. You may be just one person, but you're making a significant difference just by being you and making the choices that you make every day. So this is a nice quote from Chief Seattle. The earth does not belong to us. We belong to the earth. So let's not forget that. Next slide. All right. So now we're just before I start this demonstration, do any of you folks have any questions?
I have a question.
Sure, go right ahead.
So I make my own products like lotion, shampoos, soap bars.
Yeah.
I was wondering, are all the products you have like ready-made products, or do you have any standalone products like shea butter or wax pellets and stuff like that?
Oh, yes. I have, I just sell products that are ready made and ready to use, so to speak. I was thinking of, because I have such a small space, I would love to just like offer shea butter and cocoa butter. And I would love to offer like Epsom salt, because Epsom salt are just amazing. And of course, they're so diverse in use as well. And a lot of people like to make, like yourself, I would love to offer like a section where you can, create your own products and collect all your ingredients and all that sort of thing. As soon as I have a lot more room or a little extra room, I might just consider that, like, the do-it-yourself section sort of thing for those who like to make their own products. And I like that. That's amazing. So I like when people make their own products, because I love hearing about, how they come up with their ingredients, and what scents do they love to make, or that sort of thing. It's really exciting and they understand the process that's involved in creating a product too, even if it's just for themselves and not for like public consumption. So thank you. Anyone else? All right, so now I'm going to get on with the demonstration. And let me just get myself ready. Now, in a demonstration, basically, or just generally speaking, I always have the customer, they pick a container or they bring their container, and it has to be clean and dry. And that's the first step. Basically, they'll come in and they'll be like, yes, I have all these containers. I have people that bring like 5 or 6 containers, even 10 different kinds of containers. And they have them all pre-labeled as to what they want, or I'll just put like a little label on them at the end. So basically, if we'll switch over, I don't know if you'll be able to see. Can everyone see this? My little table?
Yes.
Fantastic. So you'll see that I'm wearing these gloves. Now, for the last several months, I've been disinfecting my hands beyond disinfecting. And so they're very dry, and I have to apply hand cream on them constantly. But these gloves help me because they're biodegradable. Just to let you know, I use biodegradable gloves from Good Judy in Toronto. And these help protect my hands a little bit more because it gets to be so dry. So pardon the gloves. And here I have my scale. So I'm going to turn it on. I forgot to put it on. And I'm going to set it up to grams. All right. So here I have a jar. As you can see, it's an old pasta jar. Or actually, it was an olive jar. It contained a whole bunch of olives. So I've already cleaned it. It's already dry, so we can we don't have to go through that step. And what I'm going to just do is I'm going to put it in on the scale, and I'm going to weigh it. And on the scale, it says that it's 210 grams. So what I will just do then is I will make a note of it, that it's 210 grams. And then here I have from Two Sisters Naturals out of Barrie, Ontario, I have an all-purpose cleaner. So this is a cleaner that I can use in anywhere in my house, just to, freshen up something or just whatever. It's a multi-use cleaner for the household. So then what I'll just do is, of course, everything is clean and dry. So usually what I'll just do is I'll just wipe around the inside and outside. So this way, if the pump touches anything, at least it's been disinfected. So then what I'll just do is, of course, the customer will tell me, oh yes, I want it all the way filled up. So I will just go ahead and I will start pumping. Oops, there we go. And then I just fill it up. I've made a mess. I can't believe that. and I will fill it up. To the very top. It's just a clear substance, but it's made out of a lot of essential oils. And it smells so nice. It's got like a lemony scent to it. All right, so, and then I'll just put it on here and I'll weigh it again. So it's 546 grams. So then I'll take my calculator and I will subtract 546 from 219 because we're not paying or weight, like you're not going to pay for the container. You're paying for the product essentially. So then I'll plug it into my POS system, my point of sale system, and then charge the customer accordingly. I would like to demonstrate the process of payment, but that's actually on my iPad, which I'm presenting this to you today. So that's essentially what a refill or filling up is at a refillery. As you can see, I can show you around my shop, but let's just put this, let's tighten this up. And there we go. And I can show you around. I don't know if you folks can see a little bit of my shop. It's a small shop. And just to let you know, sorry, I lost you guys for a moment. So just to let you know, here in my shop, I sometimes have plastic jugs. I have plastic jugs and whatnot. And the brands that I deal with, they take back those jugs and they will sanitize them and fill them up with my next order. So then it comes back to me again. So like when people say, oh, you got plastic in your shop. Well, no, it's not necessarily that. I do have it, but it's like an exchange back and forth. So it's not going to go anywhere but to my shop, back to my shop. So that's an example of a demonstration of how you would fill up a container or a jar or whatever. It just all depends on how creative people can be. I want to add a couple points here. Last year when I was working on my business plan for the Glass Jar Refillery, and according to BNN Bloomberg, they conducted a survey in November of 2019 stating that 64% of Canadians prefer package-free products and deliveries. That's clearly evident that Canadians are already aware of and taking action through their purchasing habits. So they're aware of the impact that they're making and they want to make a difference. And so I think it's really important for us to continue on that path. Also, if you ever want to, you can also Google the environmental defense, and it offers a report, 6 ways Canada can progress towards zero waste by 2025, which is an ideal reference for communities across the country to take initiative within the next, I say about 4 years, maybe a little longer because of COVID-19. And we can be leaders for change for the rest of the world. So it's a great report. And yeah, I just want to point those out just to showcase that we as Canadians, we're slowly making a change. And but it takes a lot of work. We're we still have to proceed in a direction that's a little faster, and we got to pick up the pace. But we'll get there eventually. One container at a time, one cloth bag at a time. It all adds up in the end. So
Great,
those
Rosanna.
things.
Sorry, I'm just gonna do a time check with you now. We're at
Yes.
12:40, so the last 5
Oh my
minutes. If we
gosh.
want to save a couple of minutes for some questions at the end, if there are any, or if anyone has a question, if you want to pop it into the chat, we might be able to answer them that way too. So just last 5 minutes. Looks like Rosanna might be frozen. We'll just give her one more minute and see if she can come back on. Rosanna, can you hear us? Oh, Rosanna, there you are, but you're on mute. Here, let me ask. Yeah, you might have to unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear
now
me?
we can hear you. Perfect.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Was I going on and on without being on mute? Oh my gosh, I apologize. Technical difficulties, folks. My apologies.
No worries.
Anyone have questions
I have
or
a question.
comments? Yes, go ahead.
I was wondering, how is like the process now that we're in a pandemic? So with Bulk Barn, they no longer took the containers because it's unsanitary. So how does that work when we come do curbside pickup?
So right now, basically what I've been just receiving and accepting everyone's containers and jars, because when I opened, so at the beginning of the pandemic, the government was like, oh, no, you cannot do refills or reuse. So the refilleries that were already opened stopped that, and they had to always provide like a mason jar, like mason jars and whatnot. And then of course the Bulk Barn stopped their container reusable, bring your own container program. And then as time evolved, I think everybody started getting back to reusing, allowing businesses were allowed to have their customers bring their own containers and jars. Like we were always checking with public health, like the Hamilton City Hall through the public health. I was always checking with them. And then when I knew that I was allowed to, then it was no problem. So right now we are allowed to accept your containers and your jars as long as they're clean and dry. And I always give them I always wipe them down with rubbing alcohol anyways. Hence, that's why I have to wear the gloves, because my hands are all dry. So we're allowed to accept them. So it's fine. But in the very beginning, it wasn't allowed. So everybody had to provide the jars themselves to the customers. And then you would have to bring them back later on or whatever, fill them up or whatever with your own containers at home. So it was a bit of a process, but now it's all okay. So, but yeah, that's basically it. Anything else?
I have a question.
Sure.
So I know obviously the store there focuses mainly on refills, but do you guys sell any just sustainable products on their own? Like I see some things behind you. Like I didn't know if anything like that you sold as well.
Yes, I sell, I sell like eco sponges.
Okay.
I sell reusable cloth wipes. What else? I sell food wraps, like from Earthology, vegan food wraps as well. I sell zero starter kits that are of cloth, reusable cloth. I sell also from OB Hive and Berry bumble bags. So those are some of the products I sell. And I sell some dental products like toothbrushes, bamboo toothbrushes as well. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Any other questions?
I think that's it for today. Rosanna, thank you so much for taking the time to put this presentation on for us.
Oh.
And thank you so much to everyone who joined us today. I have the last screen of Rosanna's presentation up here. So if you have any questions or want to get in contact with Rosanna after the presentation today, her email address is there, the website address is there, and also following her or following the Glassjar on Instagram. You can probably contact with her that way, right, Rosanna?
Absolutely, please do. And I feel like I hope I didn't miss anyone's questions or comments. Please forgive me. I probably went over time, but don't hesitate to reach out to me. I love to continue on the dialogue like I do with all my customers, because there's so many ideas that can evolve from just, having a conversation and welcoming everyone to my shop too. So thank you very much. So contact me if you have any questions or concerns or anything you'd like to continue on talking about. And I hope that you got something out of this presentation. I'm still learning, and I'm just admiring everyone's efforts, from business to, just the consumer themselves. It's important. It's amazing. It's an amazing journey. So let's continue on. And thank you, Amy, for the opportunity too. You're a star.
Yes, absolutely. So glad to have everyone. And thank you again for coming. And I hope that you all enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Have a great day, everybody. Enjoy the sunshine.
Take care.
Thank you, Rosanna and Amy.
Thank you.
Have
Ciao.
a great day.
Bye,
You
guys.
too. Thank you. Bye-bye.